that you're moving towards real influence and being able to impact people because you're getting attention. Resilience is a required trait for anyone who is serious about building something that lasts. Our final pro is that owning a business is the fastest way to build generational wealth. Business ownership is a way to create generational wealth because you own part of something that is valuable, that can create a return for you that can't necessarily be destroyed. As long as you are continuing to build value into this business, you are able to have the return off of that value, off of that asset. And so this idea of having something ready for your kids through the generations exists through business ownership. And you look at all of the biggest families that have existed, especially over the last 100 years, and they have been able to set up their families and their children for success, all because they built a business. They didn't do it through having a job. They actually did it through building a business, if not multiple businesses. And we could get in a whole debate about whether or not generational wealth is a good thing and how much money people should be giving to their kids versus other causes. But regardless of where you stand on that, wouldn't it make sense and be a good thing to be in a position financially for your kids to not have to worry about where their food is coming from, to not have to worry about, man, my mom and dad can't spend any time with me because they have to work 4 jobs and we're barely making ends meet. And so this idea of generational wealth happening and creating through business ownership is a choice that you can make. You see, entrepreneurship isn't just about paychecks. When you do it right, it's about building something that does pay you for years to come, for multiples on your earnings in a given year. You see, my husband actually sold his last business for 77 times EBITDA. What that means is the acquiring business paid 77 years worth of earnings in his business, all in a day. 77 years in a day. Why? Because the business was so valuable. It was worth 77 years of those earnings to that business to acquire. So remember that you are creating value every single day in your business. And if you focus on this over the salary that you're paying yourself, all of a sudden you're creating this thing called generational wealth, all because you decided to own a business. Our last con can be a big turnoff for most people. Business ownership means risking your own money. You see, tying to this idea of generational wealth, it sounds really sexy. We just talked about having money for our kids and maybe even their kids, but you don't get money without risking money. And risking money can be terrifying. There are banks, there are creditors, there are loan terms, and it can be scary to not know what all of this means and the right way to access capital and to use capital. And if you don't do this correctly, you can end up filing for bankruptcy. You can end up really damaging and hurting other people. And so this isn't something that should be considered lightly. You might not know this, but the definition of being an entrepreneur